So yes, a very, very warm welcome to all of you on a Sunday evening. And the flow of today's presentation is that I'm going to, in 5 minutes, very quickly talk about Moolah and what we do at Moolah, and then introduce Dr. Raina to you, and then hand over the stage to her for her to tell us more about POSH, and if we have more time, a little bit on POXO also. And we will know what POXO and POSH are for those who don't know it already. So very quickly, if I can introduce Moolah to all of you. Ritu and I are the founders and co-founders of Moolah, Moolah for Women. It's a platform for financial freedom for women and by women. Here, it's a financial literacy platform, and we say there is no more reason to fear. If you fear finance, then ladies, this is a platform just for you. We have a special focus on women, and our unique approach is to make finance simple, fun, and jargon free so that the audience can very, very gently get introduced to the world of finance, and so that you can start taking charge of your finances from a position of knowledge. And who's Moolah for? Moolah is primarily for women, but of course it's for kids, young adults, and all kinds of women, whether you're a working professional or a homemaker, a young woman, a retired woman, or a womanpreneur. Moolah is for everyone, irrespective of your age, geography, or profession. We have a tribe of about 1,000 plus women, and we've impacted more than 4,000 women from across the world as a part of Moolah. What have we done? We've tried to shift their mindsets to make them feel more in charge, worthy, and deserving. We've empowered them to become equal stakeholders in financial decision making. We've supported them by making them a part of a community of like-minded women, and we have tried to transform them to become smarter, confident, liberated, and even happier. Because once you have financial independence, those are the feelings that happen to you, and it is a transformation process. We've also impacted kids and young adults, increasing their understanding about money, having them start early, providing them the right environment to ask questions, and to empower them to be confident about money. The way Moolah, the courses that we offer at Moolah, we have two courses. We have the Essentials course and the Advanced course. They're both 3-month courses. They're designed specially for women. They're delivered over WhatsApp, because WhatsApp is like a ubiquitous, easy medium for women to follow, and you don't really need to disturb your daily routines. All you need is 2 to 5 minutes of your day per day to be able to understand and get into the field of finance and start understanding everything. We have weekly interactions, which happen on Zoom, where we deep dive into topics which are covered in the WhatsApp, which we are sending to you day in, day out. And there are 3 master classes, which one every month as a part of the course. And we also have quizzes and various things, which at the end of it, the idea is for women to shed away their fears and start feeling confident about how to manage their money. To make it easier for you, we offer 4 kind of options. They are the affordable and the premium options. The silver and the gold ones are the affordable options, where we are trying to, which are self-learning sessions, in the sense here you have pre-recorded content which comes to you, along with the daily WhatsApp doses which come to you. And the platinum and the platinum light are programs where we have live interaction with me every week, and that's why they're a little bit more premium as compared to the other 2 options. This is what the a little bit about each of the options are. So in this all 4, you get the WhatsApp posts. In the platinum and the gold, we have weekly live mentoring, which happens from me. Monthly live masterclasses again in the platinum and the platinum light programs. Silver and gold have the pre-recorded masterclass. We have a monthly Ask Me Anything session, which is free for everybody. And we have a 1-hour live one-to-one session, also a coaching session for the platinum and the platinum light members. And of course, there is a community and a tribe membership, which is available for all. So the packages are about ranging from 10,000 rupees to about 30,000 rupees. And we also do one-on-one coaching. So if you want to deep dive into your personal finance or your topics of interest, or want to understand your portfolio better, we help you in doing one-on-one coaching. We also organize tailor-made workshops for various corporates and communities. And so if you want to do that also we do. Briefly introducing me and Ritu, both of us are here. Ritu is a co-founder. She has 30 years of experience. She's an organic farmer and an angel investor, and she's passionate about empowering women. And I also have 30 years of experience. I work with banks and corporates, and I'm equally passionate. we like we're doing it today. We are calling Dr. Raina. We every month call one subject matter expert to talk on various topics. It could be finance related, mindset building, business entrepreneurship. It could be a book review. It could be economic awareness, or it could be on women's empowerment. So we've invited a number of people, and Raina, your name will also now appear in this list once we have your session today. We also, like I said, do a lot of corporate events which are tailor-made and suited to for the requirements of that individual corporate, and these are some of the organizations where we have done programs for. To make women be able to act upon their learning, we collaborate with trusted partners. So we collaborate with people who are into investments and insurances and wills and tax planning. So the whole idea is we collaborate with trusted partners so that you can now put your money into action in a safe environment, and we handhold you through this process. So this is what we do, and this is what our tribe members have to say, that yeah, you can be confident and all those about learning about your money. And this is very quickly what is my email ID and my contact details. So that's very quickly on what we have here today. And we have Bhavna, who's still here, Ritu's here, which is fair enough. I think we can continue if you're okay with Raina. So I'll very quickly introduce Raina to all of you. If you don't know her already, Dr. Raina Khatri Tandon, founder of CEO Right to Rise, is from Mumbai, and she specializes in women and child safety rights. She has over 24 years of experience in advocating, training, compliance, ISO certification, and is a POSH POSCO audit specialist. Dr. Raina is a polyglot, speaking 13 languages. She's a 4 times TEDx speaker, 2 times Josh Talk speaker, a UN Rex Karamveer awardee, a brand ambassador for Human Rights UN, an international mentor author who helps to unveil the best in you, that is to be you in your life. She lives with her husband and son and loves excitement in her life, which she does through exploring various activities like traveling, singing, gardening, and parasailing. Dr. Raina calls herself a simple Indian woman who's breaking barriers in her own life, from designing chips to designing lives. She wears many hats and feels that there is nothing that a woman can't achieve. The only thing is she has to make the right choices to make it happen. Today, she's going to talk to us about the POSH Act, about what is sexual harassment, its types, how do we address it, the use of the 3-system methodology, which is prevention, prohibition, and redressal committees and bodies to support the same. Her session will be followed by Q&A. A warm welcome to you, Dr. Raina, and I hand over the stage to you.
Thank you very much, Meeta. And thank you, Ritu, for being around here and welcoming me. Are you able to hear me loud and clear, or is it something on the bandwidth? Okay. So
we can hear you.
On and off, in case there is some resume back, but you can keep hearing me.
There is some glitch.
A warm welcome to Bhavna and all the viewers who are going to watch us.
Yes, and
yeah. So what we'll do is, because in the benefit of all the viewers who are going to watch us, and also the people who might watch this video on the Moolah YouTube, there might be a lot of questions that might come up, probably get back to us, because this seminar has to be more of an interactive session where anything that you want to inquire.
Dr. Raina, your voice is really breaking.
A particular situation could be very contextual. Yeah. Okay. Are you able to hear me now?
Yeah, but then we can't see you.
Should we just? Yeah, you can't see me. You can see me on and off after a few minutes. But yes, we'll see if this works better for some time. Otherwise, we will switch on to another. I am there on my data. So we'll go ahead with this for now.
Sure.
So a little question for you, only within the room house. So in case you have any questions that you wish to ask, you can still ask over here. It will be all inside and indoor of this room space. That is why we say we want to create a non-judgmental space or a safe space for all of you to ask questions. I assure you that you would probably find that over here, and we could stop the video when you really want to ask questions if you feel that it is very relevant, important for you to reach out to me. So many of us know this acronym called POSH, and I'm not going to go deep dive into me or my company for now. Right to Rise is the name of the company. It is a one-liner, India's only ISO 21001 17024 accredited body working towards legal women rights and child rights. We essentially work into safety of setups, whether it is school, college, institutions, platforms, IITs, IIMs, learning interventions, also going ahead to organizations, manufacturing, pharma, IT, and NGOs, where any place where work has to be kept safe, the act has to be prevalently found there, and that is why we are there in many sectors. Coming back to what we do, we are specifically designing trainings, the compliance, the auditing, and the consulting bit for you. So anybody who is watching, hearing us, whether you are wanting an online, offline, or a learning management systems, what you call as recorded systems, we provide them, whether it is already the one which we have or customized module. That's where we collaborate with people. Also creating something which could be a synergy for you and for us. Coming back to the act, the Sexual Harassment Act that we are here for, what is that you actually hear when you hear the word POSH as an acronym? I'm assuming that they can unmute for a second. I'm not sure if they're allowed to unmute, but yes, they are.
Yeah.
So then, yes, I'd like to hear what exactly do you think or you know about this word POSH? Have you ever heard what is the full form of this act is what I'm trying to ask. Anybody in who can unmute and just specify the name of the act as you know it.
Bhavna, would you like to say it?
Yeah, prevention of sexual harassment.
Okay. Ritu, do you want to try?
It's the same, prevention of sexual harassment.
Any other answer anybody would like to
Is there a different
try?
answer? I mean, I also know it as the Prevention of Sexual Harassment Act.
Okay, so a very interesting point for you to watch and see on the screen. The actual name of the act, as you already know, is nothing but the Sexual Harassment Act for Women at Workplace, and it talks about prevention, prohibition, redressal. So POSH is just a myth that we take and carry forward, as all of us just name it with a short name or with a pet name like we always have. But when we talk about legal and legalities, the name of the act becomes very, very important for all of us to know, because it gives you the second answer to the question that I'm going to ask. Is this relevantly for all genders, or is it specifically for any one or two genders? What do you really think?
That's an interesting thing, because I was told, when I sent this across to people and I said it's for women, people said that why is it only for women? Because even men can be sexually harassed. So
And interestingly, today is Men's Day.
yes, and interestingly, today is Men's Day. Yes.
So to be very honest with you, this act specifically has to be spoken when we speak about all genders. Why? Because we are not looking at cornering one gender and probably giving importance to another gender, though specifically when it came out in the year 2013, we have prevalently said it is only to support women at workplace, and even today it is more hell-bent of supporting women, because no matter how women become, with self-defense, with all other areas that we carry, the strength that we carry, we still see women to be a more vulnerable part of the society compared to men or other genders. So this act is for women at workplace, yet we need to create a uniformity or equitable workspace. So the session should always be conducted with both genders at workplace. That is what I feel, for the men to know what women feel, for the women to know what men feel, and so forth. So this is two important myths that we have broken, the name of the act, and the act is preferably for women at workplace. The third important thing, if I have to just quickly ask you, do you think that about 98% to 99% of people are abused most of the time, at least once in their lifetime? Do you think it is true or false?
I would
It is
think,
true.
yeah, even I would think it's true.
So,
Yeah.
if we still put this question in front of a lot of corporate houses or manufacturing or even the plant workers, they very hesitantly say, we don't really think so. But if we look back or ponder back into our lives, I'm sure all of us, whether we've been in a personal space or professional space or in an open space at our society, we would have undergone an unwanted touch, an unwanted feel, a sexual favor, a sexual intent, something that has made us feel uncomfortable in life. And that itself defines that sexual harassment is not equal to rape or just touch. It can be much beyond that. Okay, so that is what we are going to quickly see. So even if we look at the gender parity scale today, or a lot of the gender barrier gap over a global level, India still stands with the highest ratio of women still rising on the top in the boardrooms, on the rural areas with education level. So if we look at the gender parity scale, not increasing in most setups, when we are growing either in a financial sector or in a marketing sector or in the manufacturing sector, we don't find a lot of women coming forward, even banking for that sake. We have a lot of bank HDs coming up to us and telling us, women don't want to come on the top. Why they don't want to come on the top is because we don't find the other genders supporting them equally. And when I'm saying other genders, I'm also saying women supporting women. And I'm sure you, as women leaders, setting up financial independence, do understand that women are very hesitant when we come forward and even speak about an unsafe place. So, where we come from, Right to Rise, is we are not here to teach you just the law. We want you to be aware, acknowledge, and understand beyond just the law, because legalities are always there in the form of the act. What we want to teach you today is that how can and at what step do you have these gender warriors, do you have these gender heroes or the heroines who can come in and at a very small level create groups where, when we say equality, equity, gender, sex, sexualities, we understand the root level of these aspects. So there are close to 12 sex, 63 sexualities, and at least 13 genders, which we are not aware of. Okay. And if we look out in the world, 1 out of 17 of women and 1 out of 10 of boys who walk up and tell us that we have sexual harassment happening. Okay. Now, a very quick thing before we get lost again, I'm just going to show you what sexual harassment actually means, which you can quickly see, and then we move out of the slide. You can see this, right?
Yes.
Okay. So it says anything unwelcomed, unwanted, sexual in nature, subjected in experience, and having an impact, not intent, that matters is called sexual harassment. It's a very complex statement. Let's make it a little small and sweet for you to remember. Anything unwanted, unwelcomed, sexual in nature, and subjective in experience. So you have unwanted, unwelcome, to use, to assess, sexual and subjective. Okay. If it is subjected, if it is sexual, then it is sexual harassment. Now, when we have to look at that, we can't say everything and anything that we define or anything that we come across will become sexual harassment. It has to be something very specific. So again, the law is defined it into 5 important points. So the first point is anything unwanted, unwelcome, and anything that is sexual in nature. So the first, let us take a simple form. Sexual harassment can be something which is unwanted, unwelcome physical contact. So physical contact, you and me meet every day at office, or we meet every day at a personal space or a professional space or a co-working space. Most physical contact just happens maybe by a touch. Most physical contact maybe happens by a handshake. Most physical contact maybe happens just by touching on the shoulder, on the hip, or the back, or maybe a hug, which is uncomfortable, a smile, which is more cheeky, in the sense that we are looking to do beyond. Now, many people come back and say, how do we define that? If it is happening time and again, or if it is reoccurring with you telling the person, I am feeling uncomfortable, or I am feeling threatened, or I am feeling that there is something attacking my employment status, time and again, in spite of telling the person I'm feeling uncomfortable, then it gets into the phase of sexual harassment. So here I'm saying a physical contact that might be okay to me, might not be okay to maybe a Ritu, um, maybe Bhavna, or maybe Meeta. So I can also say it's contextual, that what is okay today with Meeta may not be okay with Meeta tomorrow. I can say what is okay with Meeta today may not be okay with me. I can say what is okay with me sitting in India might be okay with Bhavna sitting in Singapore. So there are different contexts, and it's not just black or white that anything physical contact or advance that is there in the law as a first point, it comes under sexual harassment. So when we are presenting, we also want to make it a point to tell you that it's not A for apple, B for ball. Yes, anything that is impacting you as a woman, it will be taken as sexual harassment that is attacking you. That can tell me, hey, for a young dude, it is going to be different. For an older lady, it might be different. And for somebody in the mid 30s, 40s, it will be different. Yes. So every situation in this law will be handled very differently. So I can teach you only the basic. But when you come back to me, I have to see the story before, the story after, and the story that you're telling me. Okay. And the two important parties that are there in this law is the respondent and the aggrieved. The person who's undergoing the abuse is called the aggrieved. The person who's doing the abuse is called the respondent. Okay. Now, situation one was physical contact and advances. Advance is very simple. Anybody stooping over you, anybody stooping over the table, stooping over your laptop, teaching you something, but with the intent of telling you to get too close, coming too close when you are presenting online or offline, on a meeting, Steam, on a Zoom, anything that makes an advance towards you, maybe by drooping some papers, trying to pick it up. So these are some of the examples. That's example of an advance. Now a simple situation. If I give you a situation that there is a tall guy, and here we have Miss Ritu, who's the HR head, who's a very short lady, just for an example. If he low, Ritu might feel that he is hell-bent towards making an advance. So here again, the situation advance is very different for a person who's tall, who's short, who's mid-level, who are at equal positions, who are at different levels of cadre, of sector, of position. And we have to make the person, whether it's a CFO, lifestyle.
Dr. Raina, you must get your Wi-Fi fixed. You're talking such wonderful stuff, but we are losing you time and again.
Yeah, I am here. So what exactly it says is that when we are with CEOs and CFOs and trustees, and we do specialized training for them, we also tell them that we need to keep in mind with whom we are meeting, whether it's a senior person, whether it's a tall person, whether it's a short person. As much as we talk on personal excellence and branding, today we need to also know that safety is compromised when we are not aware of our circumstances. Okay, so they have to know that if they are tall, they don't stoop too close. They have a distance between them. The way we greet, the time of greeting, the time of the handshake, the time of the contact, how is it happening? Are there people around? Is it a closed room? Is it something that is very transparent? What is the scenario? Is it a hotel room? Is it a personal space, a professional space? You might have a gathering or a meeting elsewhere, but every situation is different. So we can't equate this to a behavioral skill training or a leadership training. Where I'm saying is a physical contact and advanced, every situation will be different with different people. Second is showing pornography. I think everybody understands what's pornography. Again, if I have to make you understand the context of pornography, it is not as simple as saying, okay, if I get a video on my WhatsApp, I forward it. Yes, if you get a video on your WhatsApp and you forward it, you become the owner of it. If you're sitting in a WhatsApp group that has constant discussions about a lady who is probably dressed in a more sexual way on a function or a Diwali party or a Holi party or anything, and you are constantly discussing it, we have seen time and again all the admins are to be penalized and taken to the law. So it's not about just a video, it's not about just on email, it's not about just opening it and watching it at your workplace. It's also about your workplace getting extended. So it can be your cab while you're driving from one office to another. It could be just as you are walking from one place to a client place or a vendor place. It could be your four premises of the wall. It could be a co-working space. It could be an extended workplace of your stakeholder. It could be your own home, which you feel is your office to work from. Yet it is your workplace during the hours that you call yourself a working lady. So everything is very contextual time and again. You cannot just say pornography is just watching pictures or sharing videos. It could be an MMS, SMS, videos, forwards, uh, email forward, downloading videos, watching it on your phone, even during working hours in your canteen. We don't entertain because anything and everything can culminate into an impact later. The third is any demand or request of sexual favors. We do know a demand means anything that we go beyond and say, hey, if you don't do this, then it becomes this. It's also called the quid pro quo, or this for that. And the second important aspect becomes the hostile, where if somebody doesn't give in to it, then probably you are creating more havoc for them by saying, hey, if you're not going to listen, let me show you what can happen more to you, and you giving more preference to somebody else in spite of probably Amita getting a promotion, a Ritu gets a promotion, not even allowing them to understand from where and how does it happen. So yes, it's important that even in this case, a demand can be justice request, a demand can be by force, a demand can be by threatening, a demand can be because you know the context of a person, his background, his father's health, his mother's health, his sister's study, or some kind of a weak point where you can force a person. So it could be forcefully demanded or request. And the fourth important point is any other physical, verbal, non-verbal conduct of sexual nature. Now, people believe that sexual harassment is only by physical touch. And that is why there was so much myth around when we were actually in COVID times, because we never had any physical contact. We have never had any meets or forwards. But I think physical contact can still be here when you and me are sitting on the laptop, or when you and me are on a meet, or when you and me are on a WhatsApp call, today video call, WhatsApp calls, you can still see each other and look at the backgrounds. That's where we say a virtual background is always better when you are in a professional setup. No matter how beautiful your workplace could be, it's always better for you to project that you don't show what's behind you at your workplace or at your home place, no matter what comes. It is very essential for you to be aware that the person across the table on your laptop screen or your phone screen or your iPad or any of your devices is not aware who stays in your house, what's the background in your house, how affluent you are, how pretty your house is, how pretty your workspace is, how are you, or which kind of teammates you have, whether you have a trouble, whether you have a maid, whether you are sitting idle or alone, because these can culminate as situations for them to get to know more information about you that they should not know beyond knowing that they're working across me. Okay. So these are little things which we probably will not be so very focused on. But I always say, people, no matter where you are, you don't have to let the whole world know what you do. Even checking in and checking out of your hotel or the resort or even the city, I think if you really feel that's going to help somebody, then create different kind of profiles, whether it's on your Facebook or social media or even on your what I say, a website or a LinkedIn or any kind of profile, where you're actually posting what is relevant for the whole world to know on your professional profile. And if you really want the whole world to know whether you're sitting in Thailand or whether you're sitting in Bali or whether you're sitting in your own house enjoying your spot, having a cup of coffee with your Bermudas, it's still fine if you are sitting and posting that in a personal space with your own personal people who are safe. Okay. I don't stop anybody to post anything out, but I am very clear about how you are projecting and why are you projecting to the whole world, what element of a person they should know of. Okay, because that is the next level of probably creating a bullying case, a sold out case across borders, somebody who's been pornographed, somebody who's been videographed, somebody who's been hacked down, somebody who's been I don't know, sold a woman being sold out to somebody out there, children being posted out somewhere else, or even going to the extent of rape, where people, we say outsiders come and rape. I say, if a person doesn't know you, why would he even turn up to rape you? Okay, so it's always with the people who know you and track you down because they know a lot more than what they should. Okay, and finally, the fifth one, sexually colored remarks. As the
Sexually?
name says,
What
yeah,
sexually? What did you say?
sexually colored remarks. Yeah,
Colored.
colored. So, as the name says, I think colored remarks means anything that is sexual, anything that is colored. Okay, so if we have something sexual and something colored, it comes under the remark, sexually colored remark. What can be colored? You talking about somebody's caste, creed, race, religion, color, the way they look, probably their hair. Like I could just say, hey, that's such a sexy pepper look that you have on your hair. I would not wonder why the hair would be sexy. But if we are to use those words and it is not acceptable by somebody else, then I think we should be avoiding those terms. It could be as using the terminology that we have, like maybe a mal, ekdam chamke lagti hai, curvy lagti hai, describing body parts, describing your sexual parts, describing the way you look curvy and broad or big or bossy, or probably describing even a person who's LGBTQ, the lesbian, gay, transgender, and talking behind their back about their sexuality and sexual intent. So it could be a lot of other things, like maybe you're black, you're white, you're tall, you're thin, you're fat, you're plump, you're bald, you're hot in a red sari, about the tattoo, about your birthmark, according to your sexually colored ringtone. You can have a Sheila Ki Davani or a Munni Badnaam Hui and many other areas. So today it goes beyond to gaslighting, to microaggressions, to many other biases and stereotypes that we have created in our own setups. And this is not basically about all big corporate houses alone. This is from the smallest plant that we have, the smallest food confectionery that is building up, to the food industry, to the textile industry, to even entrepreneurs who are now proprietorships, LLPs, one-person company, where they have their own interns and teammates having these kind of issues. So I'd never say this is only a private limited company stuff. And because compliance is always equated to a private limited company, let me be very assured to you, this act is a zero tolerance act, number one. This act is only for safety of women. This act has a blanket rule, section 3, which says no woman shall be subjected to sexual harassment of any kind, any place, by any means, whether directly, indirectly, through gestures, through winking, through staring, through glaring, to looking up and down, could be anywhere. But it is very strict that we are only looking at impact higher than intent. That is why we said the impact matters, not the intent. Because even if you are glaring at somebody, I still cannot prove what is happening in your mind, as I cannot read your intent or prove your intent. But the impact that you're creating towards the other person is very impactful, and that is what matters in this act. Beyond this, we can talk about two committees, which is most important. Now that we have defined the act, there's more to it, why we are studying it today and not probably many years back. Of course, we had rape and occurrences before, but there have been incidences which are strongly defining and creating the essence of you and me being here to learn about this act. And then we have the committees. We have two committees, an IC committee and LC committee, which is internal committee. If you have a bigger setup, more than 10 people working, if you have less than 10 people working, then the government has said that there are district collectors or magistrates which have their own setup where you can get yourself registered in the nearest locality And in case there is something happening in your small setup, they will come and approach and sort it out. So that is where the LC or the local collectorate or the local committee comes into place. And each of them have their nomenclature, each of them have their roles and responsibilities, each of them have their members selected, and they very clearly give you the rights of the aggrieved and the rights of the respondent. It's not that the woman can only walk up to them all the time. The first point of contact is going to the IC committee. The first point of contact is going to the HR, to the IC committee. If they do not heed or prove or not support you, then probably going to any of the courts, from the tribunal court to the civil court to the high court to the Supreme Court and many other courts. We all have the rights. These rights are not only given to the women but also to the man in case there are malicious complaint or malicious intent. So you cannot play around saying, hey, if he's done something and not given me a promotion, let me just put him into a case of sexual harassment. My darling women, you can be as powerful as you are to support and to gain support through POSH, but you cannot play around with the other gender or another same woman to say, yes, I can misuse the law. I'm very sorry to say the law has its own privileges, but the law also has strong commitment towards malicious intent or wrongdoings towards any gender, and you are going to face penalties, criminal offenses, and interim relief beyond. So yes, the law has more in depth. There is support to the woman during the course of action if a complaint comes in. That's come in the form of interim relief. If the man is found guilty, he has been given certain preferences as per service rules to say either you're rusticated or either you're removed from the setup or you are given an apology letter or you can probably be demoted or shifted to another setup and many more. And if a woman does anything wrong, there are other privileges that are being taken care of and provided to support the man and to look after how the woman cannot do or misuse this law to a greater extent. And last come least, apart from the complaint handling system, there is a long list of how things are happening from 2013 to today. A lot of amendments have happened in the law. Every day there are new occurrences. In the last 2 months, Supreme Court of India has been very clearly instigated that now we cannot have just common trainers, coaches, mentors who are just speaking about the POSH. It has to be somebody who's legal, somebody who's certified into the areas of POSH, POXO, and the legal rights, and somebody who's been working with women and women-related issues at least for the last 8 to 10 years. And there are many other stronger, stricter actions that have been taken. So setups, this is only to find out, ensure that we are having the right person on the IC committee with the right skill set and to ensure there is safety happening with regards to all genders. Another good point is that other than having the POSH policy, many companies have gender neutral policy, which is taking care of all the genders. So tomorrow you might be having a trans, LGBTQ, QR plus, lesbian, gay, or 63 other sexualities working with you, but all of them are to be taken care under their own rights, like the transgender rights or the workplace rights or any other legal rights that we are working with. If we do not follow the awareness, the policy, or any of the other IC building activities and skill building sectors with the annual report, there is a non-compliance fee of up to 50,000 rupees. So yes, the setups have to ensure that this compliance is equally met as much as you pay your IT and GST. So the sooner, the better. No matter you might be a small setup of say 5 members to a company of about 5 lakh to 50 lakh. Yet the compliance of POSH has to be safely met for your safety and the safety of others. I think beyond this, there's a lot more in POSH of how we are unbiased, how judgments happen, how the committees are taking care of it step by step, and what are the different kinds of sexual harassment that we might look at. When we discuss each and every situation gives a very different structure, a perspective, a lookout of any of these scenarios. And when we are looking at complaint handling or resolution handling, whether it is a small mediation and sorting out between two parties or a big investigation, if it is not getting sought, I'm sure there are steps which every employer today has to maintain. And there are duties of employers listed in the Act. There are different compliance activities. There are IC roles, the responsibilities of each and every committee, and finally the duties and rights of the aggrieved and the respondent. So all these penal consequences, if not taken care, and if confidentiality is not maintained, then it can be as bad as even closing down your entire setup, your registration being taken off, and the cancellation and closure of all your setup on repeated breach. So I'm sure we do not want to go up there, and we want to be safe. So let's follow this law of Sexual Harassment Act for women at workplace, yet for all genders, initiated in 2013, but yet effectively keeping our workspaces happy, safe, aware, and alert. Let's make the place a happy place to work with and cordial so that we all can rise. That's why we believe we are right to rise. Thank you so much for hearing me. And I'm hoping that you learned a lot from this session. In case you require any other support, do reach out. We'll be happy to help and provide you more details. But that's in for me. And it's 7:20. We take some more questions if there are, and then take our leave from the Moolah team. Thanking once more to Meeta and to lovely Ritu, who have invited us from the entire Moolah team, and all the lovely audience who have been here. And special thanks to Bhavna for also listening out to and believing in what we do. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Raina. This was really, really enlightening in many ways. I have a few questions before I even, leave the stage, give the stage to Ritu and Bhavna and others to see that what their questions are. So, is this only for people in the workplace, or is it this act for people outside of workplace? So, if there is a person on the road who's kind of hitting on you or doing something, or in your family, there's some kind of sexual harassment which is happening to you, is there a way to use this act for those kinds of things too? So that's my first question.
A very beautiful question, very valid question. A lot of women, a lot of men generally get confused, and we do get calls even in the midnight sometimes that, I have got abused by my husband, by my mother-in-law, by my father-in-law, by my relative. There are different laws that are being defined by the system. Anything that happens at your personal space because of your personal people in context of your life within the domestic area, it comes under domestic violence. But if you are, say, a founder of a company and you are also working in the same company, possibly reporting to one of the team member to whom he is also equally reporting to or he is answerable to, which we don't prefer. So in the POSH Act, there is one clear demarcation which all companies follow, that no two co-founders or founders should work together. No couples should be working together to the same team, to the same company, to the same level, or to the same project that they are reporting. And many companies do follow this non-dating policy, confidentiality policy, which is listed. So we ensure that even if we are running a company tomorrow as a business, we say that we are not reporting to each other, but we are reporting to different people. For the same reason that you might have discussions at home related to business, but they could get into heated arguments and then they could get into violence or probably cornering situations. You could have board meetings where, say, you and your husband are sitting and there are other stakeholders, and there is a situation where somebody looks down at you and it is still taken as a situation of sexual harassment. So anything at the workplace is only workplace related sexual harassment is coming under POSH. Anything at home is always coming under domestic violence.
Got it. So if you are on the road teased by somebody and you want to take that person against it, then it becomes like a criminal offense or something under some other, right?
Yes.
It doesn't
if it is criminal or civil, it goes under the IPC. It will go only to the police station. It's not coming under the POSH.
So my second question to you is that which, like you said, that it's relevant for all organizations, right? So what is the minimum size of an organization that POSH comes to relevance under? So is there a minimum number of employees that there need to be in an organization for POSH? And if somebody is not following it, if suppose, let's assume you've given a number as 2 or 5 or whatever that number, and if that, is this something which has to happen on its own, or is it something which, suppose somebody is not doing it, they are a 5-member team or whatever, and they're not doing POSH, then what are the implications?
So this law applies to every setup that is running business. There is no lower number, but every setup that is running business in India and comes under jurisdiction of India. So if your business entity is registered in India under jurisdiction of India, you have to follow POSH. Yes, where if you are having 10 and more than 10, you form the IC committee. Else you are still registered under the local committee. But you are still to follow POSH and it comes under the compliance of your company. Now, if somebody is not aware and somebody is making you aware and still you are not following it, then it is like, you have to wear a seat belt, you don't wear it. Suppose you don't wear it, either you die sometime or probably you come across an accident. And till you don't come across an accident or till you are not audited or till somebody is not coming and putting a penalty, you're still okay. And that is what probably you can say it's an Indian mentality or a nation mentality. I don't look at it as a person or an individual mentality because that's how we all are. We don't want to pay compliances till we don't see the need of getting punished. And I say it should be prevention before cure. So you should at least do a minimum level of probably doing an awareness for all your team members, having a policy, filing an annual report, and having a committee, which is a minimum requirement any setup can have. And it's not a lot of cost. It can be very, very feasibly given to you if you come up to us, and probably if you're reaching out to Right to Rise, we can discuss it out and still give it to you at a very, very affordable price. That's where I'm an MSME mentor to a lot of MSMEs or SMEs, where we are trying to not only register their companies from proprietorships to LLPs to one person to a private limited. Second, we help them register MSME. Third, we are actually helping them to do their policies and compliances. Fourth, we set up their entire HR and MOUs and NDAs and everything, which we are doing nowadays even for platforms. So there are a lot of platforms who've reached out to us. In fact, a lot of us who both of us know, they have created their own NDAs, their own MOUs, their own non-confidentialities, their own mentor statements, their own coaches statements, where we are ensuring that legal systems are followed and no unethicalities happen. Fourth, if you are not following it and if you are audited or if the BMC finds out or if somebody who's looking at your papers find out whether you're an LLP or OPC or private limited, proprietorship, yes, for some time you'll be safe, but very soon even that will come under a proper compliance system. So if they find out, then the penalty is equivalent to a private limited, which is minimum of up to 50,000 rupees.
So who's the they? Who's the they who find out?
Government. So government will know that you are not filing because you will be registered under either GST or an IT return or any of the other compliances that we need to ensure. And
so you need to file something again under this
yes,
act.
you'll need to file an annual report. You'll need to follow a POSH policy, and this is all registered and submitted to Government of India. Yes, nowadays consultants are doing it because we do not have one body under the Government of India. So you have to look up for a consultant like us who does this for you. And once you know the process, which we probably will empower you over a period of time, where you can individually do certain things and some things have to still be outsourced. You have to still have an external body, a non-judgmental body to your setup, so that in case something is happening between two parties, no person is being judged by somebody inside and only favoring that person. That is where an external member role comes into place, or an external body. So that person is always with you through every year. And that's where, the role is what we play on different consultants that we have on our board. People who are certified from us are still becoming IC committee members for a lot of organizations. And Pan India, we are around 573 people certified today, and Pan Global also. We have people who are catering to different countries and cities. So these are skilled at different levels, from the practitioner to the IC level to the auditor level. So anything that you need, these people can serve you through us. Otherwise, you pay penalty of up to 60.
How many members should be there in an IC committee? And has to be an external member who is like one of these accredited members, also a part of the IC?
Yes. So one external member, and there are minimum 3 members. The law says 4, but ethically we keep at least minimum 5 because it's easier for decision making when there is a case.
Got it. Superb. So those were my questions. Ritu, Bhavna, any of your questions?
No, I think we are good.
Thanks, Dr. Raina. I think the way you summarized everything, it was such a quick summary of the entire POSH Act and what organizations need to do and things like that. Thank you so much for taking us through it. I have a question around the external member involvement, right? And also the internal committee. Now, external members are supposed to be obviously non-biased because they are outside of the organization. But when a complaint comes in, is it expected that the external member is there throughout while a complaint is being investigated, or it's more of an advisory role? I think because you have the internal committee who is possibly, looking at the complaint, but you also have the external member. So is it that the person has to be there, part of every call with a complainant, with the respondent, or it's okay if it's an advisory role to the committee members?
So, very good question, Bhavna. External member is a person external to the setup. Okay, he is only provided so that he creates a non-judgmental space and gives you the bandwidth of looking at different perspectives to every situation. Suppose it's a simple situation where a woman is coming up to you and is narrating something and just saying that the man is wrong, and you call the man and the man is ready to apologize and it's getting sorted. So that's the mediation stage or the conciliation stage to extend to. Then there is no need for an external member to support you. No need means that you are equally skilled to equip yourself to handle that situation. That IC committee has an external member. The external member is a support to the committee to help you to sort the situations with an unbiased manner. Having said that, when we are allowing a simple situation, say an aggrieved woman comes to the committee and says situation A has happened, and the man is called, the respondent is called and says, yes, I think I have made the mistake, or probably I have not made the mistake, or unconsciously made the mistake. There is an apology, there is a closure to it and done. If the team, IC committee, is properly skilled and they're able to handle the situation, whether it's a mediation or conciliation or a smaller level of investigation, an external member support is only there when it's needed. But yet, if every time there is a company who says, hey, we love that you are around, even though we are able and capable of doing, if you can just be there on a virtual medium, maybe off camera, yet seeing how we handle it. And if there is something that as a feedback, if you're ready to give us, that would help. That's also equally workable. But if a person is not required and there are people who are very able and very highly skilled after we've skilled them, or whoever has skilled your IC team, if they've skilled them well and they know how to handle the situation, there is no need for every situation the external member to be present. In fact, most of the companies that we are working with, they only call us for maybe a quarterly review or one of its kind situation, which is really a panic situation where they're not able to handle the situation because of situations of the woman being very vulnerable, or she's breaking down, or she's very scared and been kind of fearful about threatened by the respondent or the supporters or the person who is got as a guidance person or something like that. So only when you need the external member to be present, you can bring them in. You don't have to bring them all the time. Yet if you feel that their support is only giving you confidence and every time a feedback to move on, then yes. So it's a very virtual kind of a role. Yet I would say if you really need them, seek them out, because you really need to have justice. You cannot play around by saying, I don't have any proof, yet I'm just blaming a guy and putting him under the consequences. That's not right. Okay. We don't want to shut everything under the carpet. We don't want to not handle the situation by just pushing it over the carpet. We want to take care of situations with the right kind of evidence, with the right kind of paperwork, with the right kind of documentation, and with the essentialities that yes, this person is the wrongdoer and we should just see how his mindset can be changed. It's always about mindset change. I always say people who are abusers or harassers are not born that way. They are being created because of situations and circumstances and perspectives. It's only the way we look at situations, if we can make them better and if we can give them one chance, I repeat, giving them one chance is okay, but repeated chances can also create more havoc for you by giving support to an abuser or a harasser who feels it's okay to just say sorry and walk off. Okay, so that should not be a reoccurrence. But I hope I've answered most of your question.
Yes, yes. Thanks, Dr. Raina.
It's fine. I think you can put the question on the chat for me and I
Okay.
can still take it up.
Sure.
That's what we can do for now. I think you can hear me, but maybe the volume might just come back as we are speaking. Okay, so
I'm typing my questions
yes.
this one.
Any other questions, friends? But lovely questions, and I appreciate that you're bringing them up. So my question was that I was a part of an organization for a long time. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So the thing is that POSH was very prevalently known after 2013, but there are big companies like Emirates and Lufthansa, many of the aircraft providers, Army, Navy, Air Force, and many of the places where manufacturing and government organizations were, they knew it effectively 2011-12. So they had committees even before the act actually prevalently came out strongly. Why a lot of organizational employees don't know is two, three things companies don't follow. One, when a policy has been formed, the policy has to be floated among all employees. And now it is mandatory to get it signed to say, hey, I have undergone an awareness and I know about the act. Because when they've been called in the complaint handling process, they say, hey, I did not undergo an awareness. I don't really know. So now you can't run away with that because the company ensures that awareness is happening. The company ensures that policy is being floated. The company ensures that people have read it. Whether you read it or not, if you sign and give it, you say you have read it. And if you look at every place, whether it's a World Trade Center, whether it's a fitness club, whether it is a dance center, whether it's a exercise club, whether it's a football club or any place, even hospitals, hospitalities today, and including all corporates and manufacturing, pharma, IT, oil, coal, steel, you see anything near the elevators, the lifts, the corporate offices, the plant sites, you will see the name of the committee. You will see posters, banners, clip arts which say no woman should be subject to sexual harassment, no sexual harassment is entertained. Now there is more and more talk about it. Even places in the village today have schools where POXO and POSH are being spoken about. So the only difference between POXO and POSH is POXO is a very different act, a more stronger act because it deals with children from 0 to 18, and POSH is from 18 and above, the adults. With POXO, it is much more stricter with high levels of penalties and high level of criminal offenses ranging from 7 years to lifetime imprisonment and a lot of penalties. With POSH, it is at least, I would say, lenient to say only 50,000 rupees a fine because people find it easier to pay than to follow rules. I would say it would be easier to follow rules and the acts and the law because it is not for just you and me, it is for the future society where our children are yet to stay. Okay, and if we can't create that, then I'm not sure what we are doing when we talk about the word empowerment or bringing power in societies or creating independence in societies or equalities. So I just look at being very passionate about this cause and creating Right to Rise with that only aim that we create millions and more societies which are more compliant, more safer, more ethical, and hack free from any of the abuse words or harassing environments. And time and again, I say these are not people who are born, these are people who are created by both you and me and the society around we live. So if we do our work, if we keep our environment clean as much as we are keeping it safe from dirt, this is also one thing that we should be focused on. Any very big organizations, customers also covered as a part, lots of organizations from NTPC to Adani to Birla to Tata's to Tufts and to German Schindler and Panasonic and Sony. Everybody does it. Okay, including steel and iron and coal and oil, and many of them are our own clients, and all of them are doing, including companies who have offices here but staying abroad or having offices abroad. So we do have stakeholders who have offices like 17 offices pan India and 3 offices abroad. whether they are in UK or US or Australia or Singapore or anything. So they do have trainings for their offices because their client and vendors are still Indians. So they have to follow the policy which is there in India as well.
Thank you so much. Can you hear me now, Dr. Raina?
Not really. Mita,
Okay.
I'm just looking at your mouth and understanding that you are talking to me, and that's good. I do understand your thumbs up to say, hey, that's very informative and very good seminar and WhatsApp. You're trying to WhatsApp to me or put me a message that it was very informative. I do appreciate if each one who sees the video, who goes through the entire content, including Bhavna, Ritu, me, and a lot many people who are here, and people who will watch us in future, to please go back to your families, to societies, to the little groups that you meet. I don't know whether they are kitty party groups, women groups, any kind of prevalent places that you look at, even in the small lift, elevator. Uh, any small talk that happens is always to create safety. So why not spread it by just letting people know as well, because you can be the reason for them to be safe. So spread a lot of love and lot of safety. Thank you so much once again.
Thank
It
you
was
so
such
much. Thank you
a
so much,
humble
Dr. Raina.
moment of being here with you, lovely ladies. Thank you,
Thank
Bhavna, for your kind words. Yes, you can feel free to connect with me. I'll just present the last screen for you guys to see probably, and then yes, we are off.
Thank you, Dr. Raina, and thank you
Okay,
all
yeah.
of you for joining in today.
I can
And
just leave my details on the chat, and you can
enlightening
reach out to
session.
either Moolah team or
Absolutely.
to me.
So for
Yeah.
all of you who are here, you can reach Dr. Raina by speaking to her number is 720. I'm going to read it out to all of you. 720-801-7715, and her company is called Right to Rise. You can reach out to us, and then you can reach out to her. Thank you, Dr. Raina, and thank you all of you lovely audience for being here, and stay safe, and we will connect with all of you again. And thank you, and God bless you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.